Welcome back to Jersey Matters. We continue our conversation now with Senator Robert Singer, Republican in the 30th Legislative District. United Van Lines just put out their annual survey of moving out of states. And here's the good news. New Jersey's no longer number one. It's almost been number one every year for the last 5 years. We're number two now. Illinois is number one. Also, the Garden State Initiative and Franklin and Marshall just put out a study that showed that 40% of New Jerseyans would like to move out of New Jersey in the next 5 years if they can. This all, it seems, goes back to taxes, and it goes to property taxes, and it goes to affordability, especially for millennials. And yet it seems like the legislature and the governor hasn't done anything about that over the last few years. Is there a problem in dealing with what seems to be New Jersey's number one issue?
Tough problem. And they don't want to deal with the issue. First of all, where the states they don't want to move to have no state income tax, via Florida and places like that. That's a big, if you're retired, or you're looking to retire, why do you want to pay state income tax if you don't have to? If you take a look at states that had growth in business-wise, they're the right-to-work states. They were able to do a lot more with their dollars than we're able to do. We don't want to change that. The unfortunate part about it is, though our population's not dropping, the income people moving in are making less than the ones that are moving out. So we're becoming a poorer state that way. And no one wants to understand is that a lot of the legislation we're passing in both houses and signed by the governor are anti-business. And anti-business says, we don't want you to move to New Jersey, which is wrong.
And they seem to be pro-low-income workers.
Well, but that's great, except if you lose your middle class, that changes your school systems, it changes your economy dramatically. And very, very honestly, if you talk about people in the next 5 years, we're an aging state. Those are people with the money that are talking about moving out. We can't afford to lose them.
Well, I will tell you, in the study, in the survey, 40% of millennials say they want to move out in the next 5 years because they can't find affordable housing and because of the taxes. So you've got a problem throughout. It's not just seniors. It's young, it's people coming out of college that want to leave. It's a huge problem.
But we're seeing it worse now. Suburbia is losing population statewide. One of our regional school districts 5 years ago had 19,000 students. They now have 17,000. So you're not getting the millennials people to say, I want to move to suburbia. By the way, they have a different thinking. They don't want to cut grass. They don't want to take care of a house. There's a lot of other issues. But suburbia is hurting statewide, and we're seeing a drop in population. That's going to affect everything. That's going to see down the road schools closed, a layoff of teachers. We're seeing less millennials saying, well, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, Indian chief, and move to New Jersey. They want to move out of state because they think they can make and keep more of their money. And if you talk to doctors, by the way, about bringing in new doctors into their practice, with the debt they have getting through med school, they can't afford to bring someone new in and pay their debt back and live decently in New Jersey, so they're moving to other states where they can afford to live better.
And I guess that's the frustration. It seems like everybody acknowledges the problem. Everybody knows what the problem is, and everybody knows that you have a problem with this pension fund that all the creditors will tell you is the biggest problem they have in New Jersey because it's underfunded and unsustainable. And yet, every election people talk about it and nothing gets done.
Well, part of the problem is when people talk about plans like that and you talk about it and it makes sense, they vote you out of office. The governor, and I like the governor, I think he's a good man, but when the governor says, if you don't like taxes, don't come to New Jersey, what does that mean?
Right.
I mean, the answer is we are overtaxed. We have to tighten our belt. We have to make some tough decisions, whether it's with the pension, or with health care, anything else like that. By the way, Steve Sweeney has some great ideas. I mean, I don't back all of them, but some of them are very good ideas. Let's listen. Let's talk about it. Let's make the hard decisions together to say we're making it a better state. Let's not just kick the can down the road.
Has the relationship between Steve Sweeney and the governor gotten any better?
I have, in all my years in Trenton, I've never seen it so bad. We do not have a working relationship with the Senate, Assembly, and the governor. And think about it, they're all the same party. As a Republican, we're sitting back and saying, my goodness, they can't get along. And part of that is when one party controls all three branches, they don't play well in the sandbox. When there's one branch that's another party, it kind of brings a little bit of how do we work together better.
So this isn't uncommon, and you've seen this for a long, long time. And given that you have the experience in politics, do you see Governor Murphy being primaried?
It's very difficult to primary a sitting governor. I mean, and also a wealthy sitting governor. I mean, he's self-funded. So, you cannot raise $50 million to run for governor. If you want to do it yourself, you can. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just disappointed because they're good people. I like Governor Murphy. I like Steve Sweeney. The speaker's an excellent person. We should play well in the sandbox together. I think it's hand-to-hand combat in Trenton right now. It shouldn't be that way. Once elections are over, we're supposed to work for the people of the state of New Jersey. We're not doing that now, and that's our fault.
Sir, as always, thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate your time. Senator Robert Singer, Republican in the 30th Legislative District in Ocean County and Monmouth County. Still to come on Jersey Matters, the parents of Stephanie Pars talk about the search for their daughter. That's next.